guys, it's me Stace. Welcome back to another Whatever Wednesday. For today's video, I want to share with you guys my design team project from Maymay Made It. We are making a really cute Christmas shaker card. There's the front of the card there, and then we have the inside as well. Alright, so the first thing you will need is a piece of cardstock for the base. This is cut to be 4 1/4 by 11. I scored that at 5 1/2. Our card's going to open up from top to bottom like a calendar. The next thing you will need are 3 pieces of white cardstock. They all measure 4 by 5 1/4. You'll also need some form of plastic sheeting for the window. I have that cut to be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm just using this recycled plastic that my husband's dress shirts came in. The other thing you will need is a trimmer. I'm using my Cricut trimmer, and we're going to be using this to make the actual front of the card, which has the cutout here. So you're going to take one of your 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of cardstock, put it in your trimmer, and I'm going to line up the right hand side with the 1/2 inch mark over there. Bring that over there, bring my blade up. I'm going to bring in an extra piece of cardstock on the right hand side under my ruler so I'm able to see the grid. Now you'll see on your trimmer you have a little dash on the left and the right hand side of the actual blade. That lets you know where you're cutting. So you want to cut down from 3/4 of an inch from the top down to 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut that, so 3/4 inches from the top down to 3 3/4. Okay. So we have that slice mark there. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing for this side. So the 1/2 inch mark again, bring my blade up, bring in my piece of paper so I can see my ruler. And I'm going to cut from 3/4 inches from the top down to 3 3/4 from the bottom. All right, now we have what looks like that there. I'm going to bring it in here. Now you'll see with our cut marks, we have a shorter end here and a wider end here. I'm going to bring the shorter end in on my left hand side, lining that up with the 3 3/4 inch mark on my trimmer, and basically bring my blade down and just connect the 2 slices we did already. Go to this one here. I'm going to hold my paper in place, lift that up to make sure I got them. I'm going to flip it over and do this side. So the shorter end here, I'm lining that up with 3 3/4. And again, I'm just going to use my blade here to connect the already cut marks that are there. Lifting it up, make sure I got them. A little bit more over there maybe. Okay, so now we have our window cut out. Now, if you are like me and you went over a little bit with your cut mark, see over there a little slice, what you want to do when you're stamping is stamp on those 4 corners. Let me show you what that looks like. And let me show you the stamps first. So the first, I'm using 2 of Maymay stamps. I'm using Santa's Key. I'm using the tag here, the holly, and also the greeting. I'm also using the Christmas stitch shapes. I'm using the snowman there. So when I stamped on all 4 of those corners to kind of disguise where I went over with my trimmer, and I colored those in using the Spectrum Noir markers. Alright, so we have this piece for our card front. We have our 3 3/4 inch piece of window sheeting. I'm going to flip this piece over. I'm going to grab some double-sided tape. I'm going to put this around that opening that we have there. This will hold the window sheeting on. You don't need to use double-sided tape. You can probably use your ATG gun for this, but that plastic I'm using, because it is from a dress shirt box, it is pretty thick, so I do want to make sure it stays down really well. So I'm just going around that window. Take my bone folder and give that a rub. Alright, then peel the backing off. I find by rubbing it with my bone folder, the paper backing comes off a little bit easier for me. Alright, do our bottom one here. Okay, we can set that aside. Now we have our window sheet. I'm going to bring that in. Alright, so now we have the front of the card with the window on the inside. Alright, now I want to stamp our snowman. Actually, I messed up. I should have done that later. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use my guide. So before you put your window sheet on, you want to stamp. So this is my guide here. So we're going to act like this is already colored. So I'm taking my other piece of 4 by 5 1/4, putting my window front on the top. I'm going to grab the snowman and my black ink. I'm going to take my ink pad to the snowman, ink it up really well, and then stamp your snowman down. Okay. Alright, so when you have that done, then you can go ahead and put your window sheeting on, because obviously you can't stamp through that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. Now to color him in, I'm using a black Sharpie marker for the eyes and also a few dots for the mouth and some black ones for the buttons. And I'm using an orange marker for the nose. Okay, so there's our snowman there. You can see he fits there really well behind that piece. All right, now we want to add our foam tape to make it lift up. I'm using this Hobby Lobby foam mounting tape. It is pretty wide, so I did have to cut it in half. And I have that already cut over here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring it to the very top of my card here, and then bring it down. Do the same thing for this side at the very top, and then bring that down. All right, so I have those two. Now I want to kind of go in the middle. Now if you are using sequins, you want to make sure that your mounting tape or your foam tape is going edge to edge. You don't want to have any kind of opening there, otherwise your sequins can pop out. So I'm going to bring that over, make a little divot with my fingernail, and then go ahead and cut that extra piece away. Do the same thing for the top part. Okay, and then cut that little piece away. Now I'm not using sequins, I'm actually using beads. They look like this here. So they're a little bit thicker than sequins, so I need to double up this tape. So I'm going to go again, take my bone folder across the backing of that. Give that a little rub and peel the backing off of this. I don't really care for this tape. I'd much rather use the 3M, but hubby got this for me yesterday or over the weekend, and he went to Hobby Lobby. All right, so I have the first layer down. I am going to go ahead and go around again. Now again, if you're using sequins, you probably won't need to double this up, but because I'm using a much thicker thing for my shaker parts, I am doubling it up. Okay, come around to this one. So the whole front part of our card will basically be lifted up. That's why I'm going to the very top here. Bring that around, kind of crease with my fingernail so I know where to cut it. And then also my piece right here at the bottom. It is sticky though, I just don't care for it. All right. Now I also cut larger pieces here to kind of go right here at the very bottom. Look at that, fit there perfectly. Okay, I'm going to take the back out for this one again, give that a little bit of a rub. Okay, and I'm going to double this one up again. And again, if you guys are using regular sequins, you probably won't need to double up your tape. I cut a little bit of that extra off. Alrighty, so we are all done with all that. Again, I'm going to rub all this. Okay, so basically that's how our shaker card front looks. That we have a little gap there to fill in with our sequins or beads or whatever you're using. And the way I figured out the shaker card, I knew I wanted to do a Christmas one with that snowman. So I took the snowman on a block and I just measured the block. And I kind of went from there. So hopefully the actual template for the card front was easy to understand. Alrighty, so I have all this done. I'm going to bring in this piece here that we already stamped and colored. I'm going to bring in my beads. I'm not going to use a whole lot of beads because, like I said, they are a little bit thicker, but I do want enough to where it looks like snow. So maybe a few more. Right here, okay? I'm going to take a piece of cardstock just to kind of make sure they're all one layer. Take my bone folder and just kind of get all of them in the middle. Okay, like that. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to put that right on top of that piece. I'm lining up the bottom first, making sure that's straight and on there, kind of holding that down, and then lining up one side. To make sure I'm straight. Okay, and now we have our shaker. Isn't that cute? All right, flip that over. I'm actually going to take You could use your ATG gun. I'm actually going to use double-sided tape because this is pretty heavy. But again, if you want to use your ATG gun, you can do that as well. We're going to adhere this to our card front. And if you want to, you can always go in there and, you know, rather than using white back here, you can maybe use a different color and make it look like the sky, create a hill. All right, and one down the middle for good measure. Take the back, or rub that really well. Okay, and again, take the backing off. All right, and our last one over here. Okay. All right, now let's bring in our card front. Make sure we're going the right way. I've been known to put things on my cards upside down. All right, we're going to lay this on the front. Isn't that cute? Now, if my beads, see, my beads are kind of staying up there, I'm okay with that because it looks like the beads are snow and the snow is falling on the snowman. All right, so we have that done. Now we have one more of that piece of white cardstock. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm taking that same holly I did here. I'm going to ink that up in black ink in the corner. I would then color that in with the Spectral Noir markers or whatever markers you're using. I already have that done, which is here. Now, for the front, you can see here on my piece, I have this little bit of thread going behind here. And also on the inside, I have that same thread, just for a little bit of sparkle. And I'm actually using this old thread from Stampin' Up. This is the gold metallic thread. You can probably use whatever you like. You know, twine, I guess, would work as well. A thin twine, because we are going to be wrapping it around at the inside of the card. So I'm taking a little bit of Scotch tape, taking the end of that thread, or just, I'm guessing, any kind of sewing thread would work. I know you can get it at the dollar store. They sell the little spools. You can maybe get it in, you know, red and green. Okay, so I'm going to take that and tape that down to the one side, and then wrap it around the inside here about 3 times, I'm guessing. Not too tight, but I don't want it too baggy either or too loose. Okay, so I got 3. I'm going to flip it over, hold that down, grab another piece of Scotch tape, and tape that, loosen it up a little bit. Okay, and then cut the extra off there. All right, so we have the inside. Now if you want to, you can kind of finagle that. All right, take your ATG gun, whatever glue you're using, and put this all around here. One in the middle for good measure. All right, take that, and we're gonna put this on the inside of our card. I just like that little bit of something on the inside. All right, and get that down there really well. Isn't that cute? All right, so we have the card done. Now you want to work on our greeting. So for that, you want to save that little cutout piece we had from cutting out the center. And for that, I'm using the Dear Santa one. I'm using this tag and that greeting there that says Christmas Magic. I thought Christmas Magic was fitting with that one because of the snow falling. It's always magical when little ones can see snow, or even adults. I'm using a red ink with my greeting here. Ink that up really well. Stamp that down, straight up. I'm done with the red. I find stamping my greeting first and then doing the outline of the tag is easier, because if I did the tag first, I'd have to line up my greeting on the inside. So I'm using my greeting here, or the outline, inking that up with black ink. I'm going to bring this toward me, probably get my head in the window in the film, and then stamp that down. There, perfect. All right, going to put the lid back on my ink, and now all we need to do is cut around this. And one thing I really do like about Maymay stamps, really any of our stamps, that they're very easy to cut around. And I'm not one that's fussy as far as being perfect. I'm just kind of going on the outer part of that black to kind of give me an outline a little bit. And if I'm bigger on one side, it's okay. This is a homemade card. I think imperfection adds to it. All right, go ahead and cut that off. Do this side. And then this one. And then that one. Pretty simple, right? Alright, now I'm going to take that one, I'm going to flip it over and grab that double-sided tape again, because I do want to put some gold thread on this piece as well. Take that, take the backing off. Alright, find my thread over here, and I'm probably going to take, I don't know, I think I did like 3 wraps around 3 fingers earlier. We'll go a little more than that though. Alright, take it off my fingers, cut it, and I'm going to kind of loop it a little bit. It's so skinny, it's kind of hard to work with. Alright, and just kind of plop it on that double-sided tape there. Okay, so that adds a little bit of something to the inside, or on our greeting. I'm going to flip this little piece over, that little strand, and lay that down. Alright, now I'm also going to take more of that foam tape that we use for our actual card, put it on the back of this one, so we can pop this up as well. Okay, get that thread out of our way, give all that little squish, take the backing off. And again, if you want to use twine, you can do that. But I had the thread, so I thought, why not? And I do like gold with Christmas. And I can see I have a little thread flyaway right there. Okay. Now let's grab our card front, which I put right over here. Okay. You just put it anywhere you want. So I'm going to kind of put it up there. I want to make sure I can see the gold thread, so I'm kind of putting it on the front where there's a bit of white. There you have it. Isn't that cute? And you can see there's the snow shaking. And when the card's sitting down, you have little piles of snow. And like I said, the snow sticks up here, which you can see it is in some places. It just looks like snow is falling. So there's that one. And then there's that one. Yep, I made 3 of them. Alright guys, any questions at all, please let me know. As always, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.